Is it actually feasible that we could be getting a Deadlock open beta in January? Was the Halloween event just totally scrapped? And what is the state of all of these other leaks that we've covered in the most recent days in Deadlock? Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and I want to do my best to try and answer these questions with some things I've seen across the interwebs and also some things I've kind of received on the back end from some sources that, suggest we might really have a chance at least a serious update in January, but also potentially an open beta. I want to talk about all this today while we watch some Deadlock night shift footage from the 10K trolley tournament. This was a really dope tournament. If you haven't checked this out, I really urge you to go watch these games. They're super, super fun. Production's always on point. Shout out Deadlock night shift. Big fan. But let's dive in, first of all, to what happened to the Halloween update. So I think I, like many in the community, especially when we got these first leaks about Boho and Venator a few weeks ago, really thought a Halloween update would have been in the cards. We got the 6 new heroes and the hero major update in August, and it would have fit within Deadlock's release cycle to have another kind of Q4 major update, maybe a seasonal thing, some new heroes, maybe I think the early rumors of the Vanguard map objectives, the kind of the new circles around the map had been leaked at that time. All this really did seem like it could have made sense to be released in kind of mid to late October, and we covered that here on the channel. It seems like, though, at least from what I've heard, these updates were, at least in large part, scrapped in order to continue to work on these heroes. So Venator, Boho, still being worked on, a lot of the other things that were going to be added still being worked on, and that's where I feel like you get a lot of the other leaks that we had, because clearly devs have decided, hey, maybe this is a little bit speculative, maybe instead of releasing part of this in an October update, let's save all of it for a more major update down the line. And I think that's honestly where we're at. So if you're watching this video because it's a Tuesday and maybe you expected a Halloween patch on today, there's a small part of me that still does as well. I feel like I'm going to release this video and Valve is going to go ahead and release the Halloween update and I'm going to be a fool. That could still happen. However, otherwise, pending that, I would not expect a Halloween update. And honestly, I don't think I would expect anything in the month of October. I know there's only 10 days left, but I think we should start setting our sights a little bit farther ahead, down the line. And honestly, I think that January 2026 could be a month that you want to circle on your calendar, at least from what I've heard from some insiders. And let's talk about what we could expect then. So as far as what could be coming, if this update is going to be pushed to January 2026, what could be on the table for that? I feel like there's a lot. I mean, go watch the past couple videos that we've released on the channel. This could be a new patron, base, HUD, team names, new map objectives like the Vanguard thing I think is still on the table. Boho and Venator still very much on the table. Remodels for Yamato. I've also heard Viscus, although from what I've heard, he will not be getting the Tourist remodel. That old skin that leaked a while back, Viscus should get a remodel of some kind. So there's a lot that could come. I mean, the Street Brawl ARAM mode could be in this as well, but likely not. But a lot of this is on the table for what could come in January, and there's actually a source out there I found on Deadlock Project Data, tweeted about this, who thinks that maybe an open beta could be coming in January. So I want to talk about this claim initially. So I'll put it on screen, but popular CIS streamer Recurrent shares opinion about Deadlock and some insider information. According to him, a big update is coming in January, and the game might go into open beta then, maybe. I think the quote here, I was told there's going to be a huge patch in January. They've been working on the game for a long time, supposedly in January. Maybe they'll do an open beta for it. So this is really speculative. Also, this trolley mid-boss is amazing, by the way, if you didn't watch it. So cool. But this is a really speculative piece of information, but I've heard it in other places as well. There's some leakers that I communicate with on kind of the down low, and there's been some sentiments shared amongst those circles that we really could be getting a major update in January 2026. Now, is that going to be an open beta? What is Deadlock going to do with that? That's where it gets really speculative, at least in my mind, even with this Project 8 thing we looked at, right? However, if we put the pieces together, it feels like we have a ton of things being leaked. So that means the test server has had a lot of things worked on. Devs have been busy, clearly. I mean, the base image was unbelievable, right? There's some more details that have even come out about that. All of that's in the works, and we didn't get anything in October, so the last update will have been in August. I think December or January, we have to get something for Deadlock. At least I would expect it. Again, what that could be, we just kind of talked about. It could be a number of different things. However, I really think folks should expect a major update in Deadlock in either Q1 of 2026 or right at the end of Q4 of 2025, if I were just putting my foot down and making a guess. So while there's still a lot of speculating about when we're going to get an open beta or the next major update or any of that kind of stuff, there are at least some more information about some of the leaks we've covered in the last couple videos, so I want to do a quick follow-up to some of that really quickly here. In particular, let's look at some posts from Minesweeper here. So the first one we're going to look at actually gets into how the new base is going to work, how the new patron's going to work. Basically, this is going to change the way that the games are closed out. So obviously right now, as we can see on screen, it's kind of you rush into and you kill the patron pretty quickly, and there's really nothing a lot of times the enemy team can do to stop it. In the new mode, the patron will actually become invulnerable when someone is in the pit. It's kind of like you have to put yourself into harm's way in order to, slow down the enemy team, stall the game, all that kind of stuff, right? So that is an interesting thing about the new patron, new base, how they will work. And the last thing I want to follow up on some details about is actually the Street Brawl ARAM mode. This is honestly something when I saw, I was super excited about. We might do a full deep dive on this later, but from what I've heard from Minesweeper and from what he's tweeted about, as I'll show on screen here, we actually have a pretty good, there's a fan-made UI of how this could look by the user on screen here. This supposedly, according to Minesweeper, is actually somewhat in line with at least the concept of how this is going to look in game, or at least looks in game currently. However, this is something that I was at least urged to kind of proceed with some caution about. I think in general, we're almost definitely going to get an ARAM mode of some kind. Will we get the roguelite version, or how exactly will it be packaged and put into the live version of the game? That's where I think we should proceed with a little bit of caution. What we have right now is very leak heavy. Like I said when I originally covered that, we don't have any pictures of gameplay from that, or HUD, or really anything super tangible from that mode yet. So I hesitated to cover it in the first place, and I think I would kind of continue to urge that sense of caution. I think if we get, whatever we get in the January, December update, whenever that is going to eventually come, I would tend to think that this Street Brawl mode will not be a part of it. So I would urge the community to maybe take a step back on that for a little bit. We obviously covered it here. I am like unbelievably stoked about it. It's the thing in the update that I'm by far the most excited about. The new patron base is awesome, but like an ARAM mode would solve so many of the problems I feel like Deadlock has, at least to me. So I really want it, and I want to talk about it more. But I just want to at least proceed with a little bit of caution, a little bit of patience for this one. Of all the things that we've talked about so far as far as leaks go, this is the one that feels the thinnest and kind of the most incomplete, at least from what I've seen and what my sources have been telling me. So whether it's any or all of the leaks that we've covered in the last few days, it seems like we're going to probably have to wait a few more months in order to get those in the game. So in the meantime, definitely let me know in the comments what you're most excited to see, what kind of content you want to see us cover on the channel. We might be getting into a little bit of a lull period in Deadlock, just a forewarning. We'll probably get some balancing updates, the usual kind of stuff from devs. However, if what folks are, and then these sentiments really are true, that we're not going to get anything until January, I would expect, a little bit less changes and implementations in the game until then. So be sure to let me know what kind of content y'all want to see. Obviously, we do a lot more here than just cover news. I'll definitely continue with my item guides, and we'll have a lot more fun content kind of to supplement the time in between. But if there's anything in particular you all want to see, please let me know. Obviously, if any news breaks or any leaks come out, I'll report on it as soon as I am able. But as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. Will we get an open beta in January? I don't know, but either way, we'll be here to cover it here at Dead Unlocked. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.